Truck driver Jason O'Banion is driving down the road. He looks at his empty passenger seat, and his eyes get big, and he says, "You're her." "I'm who?" she says. "When I was 23, I almost died, and this girl saved me. You saved me." "What? I don't know. I probably wasn't even alive when you were my age," she says. The car gets silent. "What's your name?" "Julia." After a while, she says, "Can we put on some music?" "Sure," he says. She stares at the radio, then asks him if he could put it on. "I like dance music," she says. "Sure." So he puts it on. Then he says, "Are you real? You see me, don't you?" "Yes, I do, but can anyone else?" "You're no fun," she says. Then she looks at him closely and says, "I don't remember you." "What?" "Well, you said I saved you when you were 23. "Yes, you did." "No, I didn't. I got news for you. It doesn't work that way." "What doesn't work that way?" "What I do, I mean, why I'm here. And the fact that the two of us are the only two in the car, which tells me that you've probably lived a pretty good life. You've been a good person most of your life, and the other team is not even going to contest your soul." "My what?" "Calm down. It's a good thing. But let's get back to when you were 23. Why do you think I saved you?" "I was in a car accident, a bad one, and you crawled in there, and when you touched my arm, there was a spark, and I gulped for some air, and I woke up in the hospital. That's pretty much all I remember." "Oh my God," she said. "You were the boy who wouldn't die." "What does that mean?" he said. "I don't have any idea," she said. "Do you think they tell us anything? I've always just thought it was a screw-up from on high. You don't sound like an angel." "And how would you know what an angel sounds like?" she asked. "Well, I don't. I just assumed." "Well, don't ever assume, because when you do, you make an ass out of you and me." "I'm frightened," he said. "Don't be," she said. "Usually there is a third person on site, and we wrestle for your soul. Not each other exactly. Well, have you ever wrestled someone over a turkey's wishbone and seen who could get the bigger piece?" "Sure I did. My brother, when me and my brother were kids, he always got the bigger half." "Well, it's sort of like that, only in this case, whoever gets the bigger half gets the whole thing." "Oh, no. Oh, what? What?" "He's here," she said. "He's sitting behind you." She turns towards the back seat. "You're late." Silence. "My soul ripped apart like a wishbone," he mutters under his breath. "Is there any way out of this?" She shakes her head no. Suddenly there's an explosion of light and sound, and Julia and the stranger in the back seat are wrestling for Jason's soul. And just when it was about to split down the middle, the light vanished and Julia was alone. "Damn," thought Julia. "I thought his soul was safe for sure. He looked like such a good man." Then she noticed her friend in the back seat. "What happened?" she asked. "Damn if I know." "Could they be testing us?" "I don't know. This is the first time she's ever talked to one of the Black Witches." "Hi, I'm Julia," she says. "Hi, I'm Al Capone. We're not supposed to talk. You understand that, right?" "Aren't you sick of this?" "Of course I am, but it's not like it's up to us, right?" "No, I guess not." "How did you get this gig?" "Well, I never would have believed it myself, but the last act among the living was a selfless act. I don't know what I was thinking. It all happened so fast, but I pushed a kid out of the way of a truck, saved his life, but it cost me my own. Not proud of that moment, but the paperwork got screwed up somehow, and I wasn't who they were looking for, and so I got left behind." It's So I figure they put me here till they decide what to do with me. And you? I am, or I was, a gypsy. And among my people there are rules that cannot be broken. And I broke them. You see, we are not supposed to be active participants in the changing of someone else's fate. All we can do is give them their reading, warn them of their fate, but not intercede in any way to change it. So I was in this mansion given a reading, and it just came out of me. I said to the woman, "You will murder your husband, kill your son, and cripple your daughter." The woman got so upset. So I was asked to leave, but first I said to her, "We all occasionally have dark fantasies, but that does not mean we have to act upon them. All acts have consequences. Think about the consequences of your actions before you act. Project out to the aftermath." But I could see nothing had changed. So I threatened to tell the police, to tell her husband, to tell the world, but she had other ideas. So it all played out just as I had seen. The woman put the kids in the car, then called up her husband and told him, "I know about her, John." "Martha, what? Wait," he said. "I'm taking the kids," she said, "and you'll be hearing from my lawyers." She got in the car and sped off, with her husband running out of the house and jumping in his car to follow her. Then realizes on a curve that he doesn't have any brakes and crashes through the rails and plummets to his fiery death. With her focus in the rear view, she doesn't see the truck. People do not change, and without a spiritual change, people cannot change their fate. And that is why it is forbidden for us to take action upon what we have seen, beyond the reading. We can warn people of their fate, but not be active participants in the changing of it. "So how did you interfere?" he asks. But then suddenly Julia was back in the form of a black cat, sitting upon the lap of Aphrodite, the queen of the witches. "What am I going to do with you, Julia? What am I going to do with you?" Long ago, Zeus banished the goddess of love to earth. In mortal form, she is now the queen of the witches, the white witches. She is in charge of the soul carriers, heaven's champions, the trapped souls who compete for the souls of the dead on heaven's side. They exist in daily life in the form of a cat, as a witch is familiar. The queen of the witches has recreated a slice of heaven on earth by collecting women who willingly serve at the feet of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, even though she hasn't gone by that name since she has been in human form, and she won't until she is freed from it. So in this small slice of heaven on earth, she oversees the white witches, while her brother Hermes, the seducer, oversees the black witches. In this competition for souls between Athena, the goddess of wisdom and courage, who seeks the renewal of life, and Hades, who seeks its destruction, all watched over by Zeus, who seeks only to keep the gods happy in distraction, and so that none rise up to challenge his power. Suddenly a group of Amazons, white blouses, short black skirts, sent by Hermes, attacked. So Aphrodite's Amazons sprang into action, and the fight was on. So Aphrodite sent Julia to see what was going on. And suddenly Julia fell into a trap and was carried away in a big black bag. This infuriated Aphrodite. "How dare my brother do this to me? I will cut him up into 1,000,000 pieces, I swear." Suddenly Hermes dumps Julia out of the bag, and she lands on the ground in human form. Al is there, and Hermes says, "So I hear that the two of you are friends now. I need to know, where did you lose that soul?" Well, it's tough to say. I think it was in Europe, Slovakia, I believe. Suddenly it was Aphrodite talking through Julia. "Hermes, what do you think you are doing? Please, dear sister, hear me out. I believe this was prophecy. It was a god born not of our race, but the first of this world's gods to be born. And you know what? That heralds our destruction or expulsion from yet another world. Do you really look forward to spending another 1,000,000 years in the stomach of Zeus while we journey on to a new world, while he grows stronger and we weaker? And when we reach a new world, he would truly be the God Supreme. Do you remember how long it was for us to gain enough strength to be a threat to him? Besides, ever since we discovered that gypsies walk among men, we have known it was possible that one day man would grow wings and stand among the gods. I am sure some among us have been preparing for this for a long time. Once this world is conscious of the fact that we have been feeding off of its life's force for millions of years, our own planet's living force to protect, and since we no longer have our own planet's living force to protect us, we will lose. That is why we must destroy it. How? How can you destroy a god? Don't kill it. Instead, send it into the sun, or bury it on an ice planet somewhere. An ice planet? I like it, brother. Then she says to Julia, "All right, Julia, when you wake up, you will remember this. Help Al Capone capture the soul that wouldn't die.